All right, everybody, welcome back to the Fast and Slow podcast. I'm your host, Nick, and with me, as always, is Nate for another episode of the Fast and Slow podcast. Like I just said, we're on episode 27.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like we're on our first, but here we are. What's up,
Yeah.
Nate?
Well, it's the first one of the new background you got there.
Yeah, and this is a true background. It's not a Zoom feature.
Yeah. That's not one of those, false green screens.
Yeah, I've got Sebring on in the background up there, kind of to prove the point. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Proof of life. Hold up a headline. Like,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, the car's back with us. I guess I can give that update, here in a minute. But happy to have it back. I think I missed the first March event, but I think I'm on track to get out to the April. I think it's April 12th or 13th event, whatever that Sunday is. So we'll get into that here later in the episode. But what about you? What have you been up to?
um, I guess we'll start with the bug. So I haven't touched it, but I ordered some parts,
Mm.
brake parts. So I'm going in pretty mild on that one. Um, I'm going to try not to disrupt the cylinders so that I don't have to rebleed them. I'm going to put all new. Somebody's listening to this is probably going to be like, oh, he's in for a surprise. I'm going to try and do the springs. The pads looked good when I was in there last. So I'm just going to try and replace the springs. And I think more importantly is the adjusters,
Hmm.
the screws and I don't know, the nuts and all that for it's drum brakes on all four corners.
Hmm.
And I think looking at my notes from last season, I think the majority of my super squishy pedal and inability to lock them up in a panic was I'm hoping it's because I was never adequately able to adjust the pads.
Hmm.
Everything was all seized up, and even using I bought one of those brake pad adjuster tools to move the star wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
I just could never do a good enough job of that. And I used um, like screwdrivers and needle nose pliers and gacked one of them all up. And, so I think now that I'm looking at it and done a little bit of research, I'm like, yeah, you really do, I think, need to have, they tell you that in the procedure or the repair manual I have for the bug, that you need to have them touching so that like when you try and throw the wheel with your hands, you only get like a half a turn.
Okay, yeah.
Like
Needs some sort of drag.
they need to be dragging,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I mean, if you can't throw the wheel around and get it to do some revolutions, then you need to have them touching the drum.
Yeah, pretty hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, well, shoot. And I was like, well, I guess that makes sense. If you think about that little cylinder's probably only got however many centimeters of
Mm.
travel, throw max.
Yeah.
And then it's at a mechanical disadvantage because it's hinged at the bottom and
Hmm.
it's trying to open the top. I was like, you're probably looking for maybe a millimeter or 2 millimeters of travel to engage the drum.
Hmm.
So I was like, yeah, you're going to want to start with it rubbing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, well, then maybe I should do that. Maybe that's a good softball if I can just replace the adjusters and screws and sweet. I really don't want to have to rebleed it.
Yeah. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. So hoping to get those. I got those from a company called, I've been buying all my parts from a company called J Bugs. Shout out to them, I guess.
Cool.
So I should get some of those soon before the weather gets permanently nice.
Hmm.
Pedal car, I finished the grill ish, kind of finished the grill.
Yeah, I really
I
like
could,
the videos you posted. I thought that did a good job explaining the process that you had to go through.
it was mostly justifying why it's taking so long. So here's the stainless. So stainless TIG rod for anybody listening. I started with 1/8 inch stainless TIG rod, and it's a roughly triangle with rounded corners and a whole bunch of vertical elements. And each one of those vertical elements I've hand bent to match the contour of the nose, and then just slowly welded them on piece by piece by piece. It's not perfect, but it's gonna get the job done. It looks like a thing. I mean, anytime I do something and I hold it up and look at it myself, I'm like, that's a product, that's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't feel DIY. It's surprisingly heavy. That's the first thing I noticed.
Hmm.
Not that I care, but so I'm going to touch up all the welds to make them all nice and uniform and kind of add a little extra so I can go back and file and shave everything down
Hmm.
to make it not cast looking, but kind of, all one cohesive part. And I'm going to try and polish it. I think I talked about that last time.
Yeah.
I got to do some research and find out what polish should I use and who has it. I don't know jack about polishing. I'll tell you that much.
Could you explain what TIG rod is made out of? That's
Sure.
what what type of metal is it?
Let's see here. This in particular, I bought specifically for this. I guess this is common. This is ER 308L. So that's 308 gray, stainless. That's the alloy.
Hmm.
If I remember right, this is what you would use to weld like 304 stainless, which would be almost guaranteed if you got a stainless exhaust system, it'd probably be 304.
Okay.
I bought 1/8 inch is pretty thick for anybody that's TIG welding. Like you would very very few hobbyists would probably be using 1/8 inch, but I bought it for this reason. And it's this particular rod's 308 stainless steel, ER 308, which I think is probably what you would use to weld 304 stainless, which there's a good chance if you bought any stainless exhaust system, it's probably going to be made out of 304.
Hmm.
304 is one of the best kind of compromise between real stainless, like it's an actual stainless alloy, and cost.
Mm.
Still pretty expensive, but compared to like 316, which is like stainless, that is, high quality stainless,
Hmm.
it's not nearly the cost. So like 304 could eventually rust in some extreme applications. Like if it got extremely hot, real
Hmm.
hot, or was in, constant salt water or acidic environment, it could rust. Whereas
Hmm.
like 316 is probably have a hard time finding an environment to oxidize 316. Um, but so on and so forth. Yeah, that's a whole filler rod material, and what it's good for and when to use it is a whole metallurgy rabbit hole, which is fun to go down.
Yeah.
But it's what's where I get kind of where I like to nerd out on it is like I also have 309 TIG rod on a decent amount of it, and I always keep it on me because 309 you can use specifically to weld stainless to mild.
Mm.
So a lot of people think that you can't weld stainless steel to mild steel, or it'll crack, or that it'll do this or that other. And while I don't think it's anybody's preference to ever. Nobody would, if you were designing something, you would never volunteer yourself into that situation.
Hmm.
But 309 does exist, I think, for that very purpose. I believe it was created to help with that.
So it's just a particular alloy that has properties that can be welded and
Yeah,
it,
it's
yeah.
it's compatible with both. It may not be the most compatible with either,
Hmm.
but it is compatible with both. Therefore, you can weld them
Huh.
together.
Cool.
And I have done that. Like especially if you're, um, I can't remember what it was. Oh, I was putting like an O2 bung on something, and I was like, I just wanted to throw an O2 bung on an extra O2 bung on stock manifold just to
Hmm.
take a peek at a wideband sensor. It's like, well, I had stainless bungs
Hmm.
and mild steel exhaust, or cast iron exhaust, or something
Hmm.
like that. It'll work.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So
Interesting. Cool. Well,
it's a cool topic to go down sometime.
yeah. Yeah. Um, Sweet. So you got the grill done. You're gonna polish it. So it being just an alloy, theoretically, it should polish, right? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
it should. I don't, as far as I know, it should. I did a little test piece, and I was able, and it was like with the little polishing wheel and the polishing compound that comes with a Dremel tool. Like if
Hmm.
you've bought the Dremel tool, it
Yeah.
comes with, and it was old. and it kind of worked. So I'm like, all right, if some like expired polishing compound from a Dremel tool kit works, then I may actually buy something. I may do some research and find out what compound do I need, and then buy it in
Mhm.
as small quantity as possible. And it's gonna be like a at the dentist. That's what I need, a dentist tool to like polish
Yeah.
the grill. So
Yeah, and you shouldn't have to, I mean, you probably will get all the way around, but theoretically, you only have to do what's visible, right?
yeah, I'm not gonna obsess over that. I'm yeah,
Hmm.
just do what's visible really,
Hmm.
and then it'd be nice to shine. Like, it'd be nice to like chrome effect. You know, if I could get it to sparkle, like reflect, like this is still pretty dull, still shiny but dull. That would be cool
Yeah, and you're really just after contrast, right? I mean, it doesn't,
as much as possible because
yeah.
the body's gonna have like a matte silver appearance to it. So it'd be cool to have this like sparkle, sparkle, like
Yeah.
shine.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I'm
Cool.
happy with it so far.
Yeah, are the wheels, remind me, are the wheels like are they just like a flat pan or
Yeah, they're flat silver too.
okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if they had a gloss to them or not, but
Yeah. So
cool.
I've debated doing something to them, but I bought them because they were the biggest and they were the shape. I mean, they were I didn't want anything too busy. So obviously
Hmm.
there's no holes or anything for anybody who can't see this. It's literally just a solid disc,
Hmm.
silver, a little bit of a contour to it. But it kind of matches. It feels old school. I don't know. It feels Art Deco enough to
Yeah.
match the style.
Kind of has like a, do you remember those candies, the spree or
That's
spree?
exactly what they look like.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Glad we're on the same sheet.
Yeah.
It's a
And
90s
then
thing, I think.
yeah, the wheel is wider than the tread, which is fine. It's got,
Hmm.
it's not. I can't remember what pedal car. This is like a stock replacement to an actual pedal car, and I don't remember if it was a like a Murray. I have no idea, but like if you get on Speedway, which is who I got this from, they sell spare parts to all kinds of them, like the old fire trucks and the airplanes and the all the cool stuff. If you and I can't, it's one of these was off of one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
You can still buy them. So
Cool.
again, for what it was maybe a little spendy, but if you if you've got one of those old pedal cars that you're restoring or something like that, then
Hmm.
there you go.
Yeah, that's worth it. Cool. So you're moving along on the pedal cart. Seems like I mean, you're close,
Sorry,
man.
do
What?
what?
Oh, I said you're close on getting that thing done or calling it
Yeah.
done.
So I keep saying this, but all I've got left. Once I may keep working on this, but I'm actually in a hurry to start cutting out. Next, what I need to cut out the hole for the grill, and then I need to start working on the edges. So
Hmm.
I was hell bent on doing all the edges right away, and then I got to wondering if maybe that was the best idea. So I totally stopped doing the working on. I'm going to put that wire edge around everything. I totally stopped doing that so I could start the grill. So a little bit of ADD there, but
Yeah.
I thought that was the best way because I once you start putting that wire edge on anything, it really kind of solidifies the shape.
Mm.
Like you're not going to be able to go back in and do much if you're not happy with part of the body or something like that. And I'm already basically kind of locked myself out of making any changes, but that would really do it. So I was like, I better get this grill thing figured out and started just to make sure.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, really, once it's put the edge on it, and it's getting to be a really short list.
Yeah, man. That's super cool. And to think a year ago you're framing it out, right? You weren't even shaping panels.
The
I think you had the
It
wireframe.
definitely wasn't welded together. I can't remember. Like I said, I've made the body a hand like probably 3 times
Oh, yeah, that's
and
right.
then
Yeah.
thrown it away. So It was at JD's. I made the last. I had 3/4 of it done a year ago. 3/4 of the panels done that was happy with, and I knew I was going to keep.
Hmm.
Maybe one was still on the edge. I was thinking about throwing it away, but then I ended up saving it. But it was at JD's probably a year ago when he was letting me borrow his space
Hmm.
that I started with a big sheet. It was the last panel that I started with a big sheet, cut it and made it. So,
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
then it was just a bunch of flat pan, just a bunch of less than a year ago. It was probably all individual pieces that weren't welded together. So
Hmm.
I'm at the point of the project where I'm like super excited that it's getting done, but I'm also like I'm kind of tired of looking at it, and I'm like it truly is like the shaping part of it that I love the most.
Hmm.
So I'm already like, what's next? Like I'm getting this itch to start something else shaping wise.
Hmm.
And of course, there's the sprint car, but I'm not going to be at a point where I'm shaping anything on that for a year, maybe
Hmm.
year and a quarter.
Yeah.
So it's like in my head, I'm like, the things that keep me up at night are like, I'm going to need another little shaping project. I don't know how or what. And then I'm like, is that even a good idea, or is it just going to distract me from building the chassis? But
You should like beat the shit out of the hood of the Beetle and have to
yeah,
force yourself to remake a, a hood or a bonnet, you
yeah.
know.
Actually, I have a funny story about that. So the the top on the bug is in great shape, except there's a huge gash on the other side. You can't see it, but it's on the other side.
Hmm.
Huge old slice that's probably 8 inches long. The previous owner said that it's been there for a decade or more. Something fell off a shelf in the garage and this corner landed right on it
Mm.
and sliced it open, whatever. Yet he's like, I hardly drive it with the top up, so who cares? Same for me. I got to wondering, like, what if I shaped a hard top for it, like a removable hard top to it?
Now you're
I was like,
talking.
you could probably make it. It'd be a big project, and I could probably make it look pretty good. And I was gonna like that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'm just gonna keep it in the back pocket. And then I stumbled. I don't know if it was Bring a Trailer or something like that. I stumbled on exactly that. Somebody had made a hard top to a bug, or maybe it was even a company, but it wasn't. I don't think it was a removable hard top. I think they took a convertible bug and made it a permanent hard top car, but,
Okay. Yeah.
but tried to keep the shape of the convertible because the convertible top's a little more flat than an actual hard top bug. It's less round. It's less spherical.
Hmm.
And I thought it looked terrible.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, that just does not look great. And maybe I could make it look a little better, but it has a lot of the features that I would have tried. Like,
Hmm.
okay, the actual hardtop bug is really bubble, like it's sphere,
Hmm.
and the convertible is not. So maybe make the hardtop not so spherical. But then when you see it, you're like, doesn't work.
You could hot rod it and like notch and channel and
Yeah,
cut the trim the windshield down and make
yeah.
it.
And I think that's part of the problem is like if you're looking at the front of it, it's such a small car. It's just the windshield is so tall.
Hmm.
It's disproportionate to like the convertible. I think looks really good with the top down. Like from the profile, it looks pretty good.
Hmm.
But then when you look at it from the front, the windshield, I think it like comes out a little bit and then it's
Oh, I
really
see.
tall. So as opposed to like being narrow at the top, I think it's almost opposite or it's straight up and down and makes it
Yeah.
look a little like so then to try and take the roof and take that back just
Hmm.
doesn't work as well as like and it's a super beetle so it doesn't have the front windshield, it's got the contoured windshield,
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
which I think probably makes it look even a little goofier.
Hmm.
But so yeah, that's my little side quest that it's there. I probably won't ever do anything with it, but uh,
Yeah, I think, man, like you're gonna get started on the car And like, I don't know, like, I feel like that's going to be the motivation is going to be insane with that.
Yeah. And I want it to be. I really don't, like I said, I fall into this ADD trap all the time where it's like, I'm going to do, never fails. I'll get started on a project and then like somebody will be like, hey, can you do this for me? Like, I'll pay you, like some welding project or something like that. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah,
Hmm.
I'll take this money and use it towards the project. But it delays me like 2 months.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Like, then in hindsight, it's like, cool, I got a little bit of money, but I'm way behind now.
Hmm.
Now it's like I don't necessarily quote unquote need the money. I've got the budget for the sprint car.
Right.
It's there, it's isolated, it's just ready to be spent, so to speak.
Time is,
And it's like time, yes. Time is more important to me right now. And I keep telling myself like there's nothing to it. You know,
yeah,
the most of the thinking is done by the guy that I bought the plans from and that I've been in contact with.
that's
The
true.
parts are procured. The front end, rear end, the geometry, all that is I'm not going to monitor. There's very little like extreme customization. It's really just make the chassis, which is nothing more than just parallel frame rails,
Hmm.
and then just all the connections to mount steering boxes and
Yeah.
engines and transmissions. And
Um, is your English wheel large enough to do the panels for the car?
it's going to have to be.
Yeah.
So that's actually one of the reasons I bought this wheel was because of the size. So it's got to fit in the garage, but also any panel bigger than what I can handle might need like two people
Mm.
to work with it. If it gets you start with a flat panel and it's going to be all floppy and all over the place,
Hmm.
that could cause problems. So
Yeah.
realistically, it shouldn't matter. I could whether you make a bunch of small panels and weld them together or make a bunch of big panels is kind of dealer's choice if you know what you're doing. Like planishing welds becomes a pain, but there's a process, and as long as you follow it, it's not any better
Yeah.
or worse. Um, and then also the flip side of that is shaping one huge cohesive panel is a real art form. You need quite a bit more skills than maybe I have. If I looked at like your fender and was like, I'm going to shape it all out of one piece, no
Yeah.
welding anything. It's like, oh my God, look at all those features and broke edges and radiuses. And
Hmm.
you say the beginner or amateur would probably save themselves a lot of headache by splitting it up.
Yeah. And even though these are like, I guess I have to remind myself that this is a stamped steel car, right? Like nobody was
Yeah.
English wheeling this car, but for it being like a mass produced car, like the amount of angles and like you said, just the how it teardrops down and like,
Yeah. Well, even like look at the contour of the roof. Look at
hmm,
the rear fender flares. Look at the
yeah,
I call it a duck bill spoiler. I don't know if that's what it's actually called.
yeah, or
Like,
like the front fenders, right? Like see the lip,
yeah,
you know?
like Chevy didn't have to do any of that.
Hmm.
And guess what? They don't anymore.
And
And
it's
everybody can
boring.
tell because it's hard. The
Yeah,
tooling and the reasons are all just economics. The tooling used to do that probably wore out faster than because of all the stress risers and the contact points or what have you. I can't speak of people that do that line of work, but
hmm,
I would assume it looks like the tooling would be much more aggressive and maybe subject to wearing out faster.
yeah, yeah, it could
If the
be
body panels are boring, they're going to last longer.
true.
I suspect, but either way, cars now suck and they're hard to look at.
Yeah, well, and the steel is thinner too, right?
Oh
Like
yeah,
in
and
terms of
crappier
gauge.
and
Yeah. Well,
but
easier to press, I assume. But
yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm
Speaking of
excited for the
Camaro,
car. Say again.
speaking of the Camaro,
Speaking of the Camaro, it's back, baby.
yeah,
Yeah, I got it back on Friday last week. And dude, it's so sweet.
is
Like,
it?
I fully respect and understand that it's the brake pads are still they're Wilwood street pads, right? They're BP10 brake pads. So
Yeah.
these are not competition pads by any stretch. Like they're good, like good street pads that are bitey, you know.
Hmm.
And it in comparison, I'm gonna every my whole reaction to this is in comparison to what it was. Not,
Right.
not I'm prefacing all that like we were comparing the A to B
Yeah.
test, and I did a couple I'd say hard stops. I wasn't trying to, lock them up or anything, but I wanted
Hmm.
to see like if I got in a pinch and I needed to stop,
Yeah.
what was that like? And so I did a couple like 50 to 20s,
Hmm.
and you know, I put it in the Instagram post, but when you're coming back from a roller coaster ride and the brakes just grab you right at the end and you kind of
Yeah.
like slam forward
Hmm.
and your face, you kind of feel your face, like the skin of your face.
Yeah. The flesh on your face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like that.
Nice.
And I'm like, holy shit, dude, if I had bitey like autocross pads or track pads, I it's gonna be now. Granted, the tires would be the limiting factor, and I'd probably lock them up easier, especially in the front. Like the
Yeah.
tires are pretty skinny,
Yeah.
relatively speaking. But still, just to know that like what I was leaving on the table, every other autocross event I've been to, where
Yeah.
I would stand on the brakes and it would just like just
Do, do, do,
doop, doop,
do.
doop, I'll stop when I want to stop.
Yeah.
This is like it just now, and hard pedal. It's still power brakes, so like there is that kind of fluffy, floaty, before you get into it,
Sure. Yeah.
booster feel, um, which I think's fine. I think from a drivability point of view, I think it'll be okay for now. Like maybe down the road I go manual, but that's neither here nor there. Um, so yeah, I'm just super excited to have it back. I drove it to work on Monday, and there's a spot when you get on to base where it goes under the runway into a like a tube style tunnel.
Oh yeah.
And I just like dropped it in the second and just a couple cracks, and
Nice.
it's just the best. Like it doesn't,
Nice.
you know, it's just the best sounding. You could not stop smiling, like going into work. I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah. What about the gears?
So not it wasn't like wildly different. Um, I think if you do the math, it's like maybe 2 to 300 RPM at 50 miles an hour. So
Mhm.
like I'd say if I was doing like 60 to 65, I was well above 3,000, probably like 32 or 3,300 RPM. And now I'm kind of like 28, 29 at 60, 65, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So
I
again,
guess
not
is that acceptable? Is that
yeah, I'm good with it. To be honest with you, a couple things like down the road, I'm going to go back to 40 aspect ratio tires in the back, which gives me another, I think like inch and a quarter of diameter, which
okay?
will,
Drop it even farther.
drop it even further. And then once I go to a 5 speed, like medium, kind of my medium plan with the car, like this was the kind of the first step in that piece to be more drivable. Um, I think like if I'm doing 70 miles an hour, it's still undrivable, for long
Yeah.
periods of time. It'd probably start overheating, and it's probably not great for the transmission to be
Yeah.
screaming, those RPMs.
If you so looking forward to 5 speed, if you this is probably a dumb question, but I'll ask it anyway. If I buy a brand new 5 speed from any of your major brands, can I customize the gear ratios? Can I throw in like a wicked fifth gear overdrive or
You probably could find a dealer that would, you know, you'd buy a Tremec and they would or they would buy you would buy the Tremec through them, and then they would open it up and,
Hmm.
they probably give you a warranty through them and not Tremec.
It probably still need a hot rod shop or somebody like that to do it.
Yeah, what you can do is like they have different options for I think your first, second, and third ratios you can play with.
Mhm.
There's like a more aggressive first gear that you can put in. Um, but yeah, to like change the overdrive gear and stuff like that, probably not. But honestly, man, the TKX, which is like the transmission that it's like the going rate. It's the LS of transmissions.
Yeah.
Like everybody who has a muscle car that is doing these swaps uses a TKX. They're just they Tremec has like compacted the shell so tight that they work in almost any muscle car application
Mm.
compared to like a T56 or trying to remember the other. I think was T56 out of Viper. Is that what they were using? If you remember, I
I'm
think
not
that's the
sure.
6 speed. I could be wrong. I'm sure there's some people that are like, you're an idiot.
Mm.
But those are like super large shells that are really, they take a lot of like tunnel work
Hmm.
to make happen. But the TKX is it's bulletproof to like 6,000 RPM, which is insane to think about
Yeah.
shifting a manual at 6 grand. Um, up to like 600 RP or 600 horsepower, something crazy. Like I would never break it. They're just
Yeah.
you'd have to do some crazy shit, to break a transmission like that. Um, and they're just like geared for what you would want to do, like road
Hmm.
course racing. There'd be no real reason, I think, to take it to a hot rod shop and
Yeah.
like make this thing that's already perfect better.
Yeah. So, like the folks that are doing like one lap of America or something like that, are they are they just dealing with it, or do they have like the like a gear vendor's overdrive? Or
All right,
I feel
for
like I don't.
like if you have a 5 speed and dealing with it.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a 5 speed like with overdrive and a 373 gear, like that's acceptable. Like you're
Oh, so
uh,
wait, maybe a better question is what are you working with in Top Gear right now?
oh, it's terrible. It's a 3 speed without overdrive, like a three
Oh,
speed
okay. All right.
automatic.
All right. There we go. I
So
guess I
yeah,
missed that part. Yeah.
so it's 1-to-1 in third, and yeah, in third gear, 60 miles an hour, it's over 3,000
Right.
RPM, or right around there. So highway driving, it's if you're going to do 70 plus, you are just, 4 grand or more. So like
Yeah.
think about the valve train and the
Yeah. Yeah.
just everything that is metal on metal is not going to be happy for long periods of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if I did
Probably be
drag
pretty
racing,
punchy though.
yeah, it is. It's, and even still, I haven't done a lot of like pulls yet because I do want to give a little bit of braking time
Sure.
before I like, thrash on it. But, it's still like not 373 is a respectable gear,
Yeah.
410 is insane.
Yeah.
I did not need a 410, but, yeah, I think if I still was going to do like drag racing, drag and drives, gear vendor would be the way to go.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember watching like a Roadco episode where they had it essentially turns it into a 6 speed because you could go in first gear and you would drop into overdrive and that would be another like 1B, and then you shift to second gear, hit the button, and it would electronically shift into overdrive, and then third, kind of you
Oh,
would
I
get
see
an
what you're saying.
overdrive
I
gear
see
out
what
of
you're saying.
each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it would have to. It's just yeah.
I mean, it's not designed for that, but if you're trying to, you know, if you
Yeah.
wanted to, you could, I guess. That's what
Yeah.
they
I don't,
demonstrated.
I wonder if it, I wonder how much abuse they can handle. Is the gear vendor's overdrive set up so like they just know you're cruising?
Yeah, I think that's
Can
all
it
it's meant
handle
for.
the, can you handle the full 1,000 horsepower of somebody doing a drag and drive? I guess I would imagine that you wouldn't send it through that gear set on the gear vendors.
Yeah, no, they're like a title sponsor of Sick Week gear vendors. So they like all those 1,000 plus horsepower cars are running gear vendor. overdrives to get them around, and like they don't take them out or anything. It's part of the transmission for the race.
Yeah. So I want. So could you feed 1,000 horsepower through, like, let's say each of those, the 1A, 1B, 2A,
Oh, I see what you're
2B,
saying.
3B,
Yeah, I don't
3,
know.
or is it designed like we know, like the main shaft, the straight shot through, yeah,
Mhm.
1,000 horsepower, more than that, whatever. But when you put it into overdrive, I'm sure you send it on a little side quest. You introduce another planetary gear, what have you, and that handle 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, I'm probably not. I think what he was, I remember it was like, I want to say Mike Finnegan was the one that was demonstrating it. And it almost was like a fuel, you could almost get like fuel efficiency, out of it because you're keeping the RPMs low as you
Sure, sure.
cycle through. But
And you just don't have to listen to
mhm. Yeah, but no, I don't think the intent of a geared fender is to give you 6 speeds down a quarter mile. I think it's,
with the full brute force of,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's designed to allow you to drive your
Streetable,
your
pro stock.
456 gear pro stock.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
yeah, so
cool.
the brake,
I'm
what?
super intrigued by those because I vaguely remember that episode too, and I think you kind of, if you're building a car, you kind of have to know. Well, I guess not have to, but am I wrong in thinking like shorter drive shaft, shorter? Is that how
Yeah,
that works?
yeah.
Is it like replace your tail shaft, or is it
Yeah, so it replaces the tail shaft. I assume they're longer because they're beefy. I mean,
right?
they're probably heavy too.
I would
And
assume.
they're not cheap. Like
Yeah.
a gear vendor unit was more than my TCI Street Fighter Turbo 350 by itself. Like I want to say it's like 2,500 bucks for a
Oh,
gear
dang.
vendor. Yeah, it's
But it
not.
would pay for itself.
Yes, I could do that
In
math. I could get behind the math
the
and say,
same way, buying a new fuel efficient car will pay for itself. No,
yeah,
it won't.
no.
Don't fall for that trap.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I would say what I'm more excited about is understanding how it's going to behave in autocross, and
Mhm.
kind of like hard braking, tight turn in, exit out of a corner. Like, how is that going to change the oversteer dynamics? Like, what it's
Yeah,
going to feel like.
and then is it a TrueTrac you have?
Yeah, Eaton Performance is the brand, and then TrueTrac is like the part, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it that'll be interesting too. Do you expect any kind of behavioral changes
Yeah,
aside from
absolutely.
the obviously accelerating? You're going to be putting the power to the ground a little better, but what about
No,
braking? How do those work when you're going the other way, when you're trying to stop?
it's a good question. I'm not sure how limited slip on decel, like what they're doing internally, to, because I think, when you're under load, the drive shaft is, pushing the gears, but like
Yeah.
what happens when that load goes away and what is it doing to the, letting one wheel spin faster than the
Mhm.
other if you're not under, load?
Yeah, if you're hard on the brakes but not maybe totally balanced, is it? I don't know. I'm outside of my knowledge base there. This is going way back, but I vaguely remember like playing like Gran Turismo or whatever, and I'm thinking the differentials you could pick, like, what was it, like one and a
Mhm.
half, or two,
Hmm.
and I think it gave you little blurbs about like what is this doing, what is this difference, and I thought it was how it handles decel specifically. So it's like, all right,
Yeah.
they all limited slip, they all handle XL just fine, but then you can, maybe some are different. Maybe it's the difference between limited slip and torsional or what have you. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm guessing a little bit, but I imagine, under hard braking and then turn in, it's it's doing the clutch packs inside are doing something, to manage the rotation
Yeah, I would.
in inner and outer rotation.
Yeah, with what I've never had one apart or anything, but my understanding would be, yeah, as soon as you introduce a differential speed from one tire to the other, whether it's going forward or, you know, I guess whether the torque's being applied in one direction versus the other,
Hmm.
you would think it would. engage the clutches. But
Yeah. I mean, there's something to it because it is a very common, it's kind of, I use the
yeah,
term LS of transmissions, like this is kind of the LS of diffs. There's quite a few
yeah,
people that have true tracks and in all, all disciplines of sports like drag racing, road racing, autocross.
hmm
So yeah, I'm excited to see how that behaves. I'm excited to see how, I think a handful of episodes ago we talked about how my proportioning valve, like the stock proportioning valve was not doing what it needed to do and
hmm
like was like nearly killing the engine when I was under hard braking.
hmm
And like locking up the rear tires before I was doing anything in the front. So, I mean, that's going to be a different dynamic. Like, I feel like I'm going to have to learn to drive the car again. Like,
right,
it's going to perform or behave, wildly different in terms of like oversteer, understeer, but then also like getting confidence in how far I can, dive it in with braking. Uh,
yeah,
I would literally have to like stand on the brakes well in advance to
yeah.
to make anything happen. And so yeah, I think it'll be some learning.
That reminds me your analogy of like on a roller coaster where you can like feel the flesh on your face
Hmm.
move around reminds me of the track days way back when I rode with an instructor. And I remember thinking like after just even a lap, like, oh, like I thought all these 5-point harnesses and everything were to keep you safe in a crash. I I'm starting to realize now it's to keep you in the seat ever at all
Yeah,
at any point.
I did feel that. Like I felt my body, the harness was kind of holding me back.
Yeah.
And again,
And
this
that's why I
was
was like, I
nothing
get it
crazy.
now when they say like you see videos of like whatever people getting into race cars and stuff, and usually somebody will reach in there and they'll tighten them down
Mhm.
tight, tight,
Yeah.
real tight. And I'm like, really? Does that need to be that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You don't want any air gaps in there because you'd be bouncing around and
Hmm. Um, so kind of on the same vein of brakes, Adam Roble, friend of the show, previous guest,
mhm.
he was doing the 5 stud upgrade to his
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Integra. He got everything put together and just got his brakes. Dude, they're insane. Like way larger than my brakes on my car. Like this thing, it probably weighs, 1,000 pounds less
yeah.
than the Camaro, and it like so.
So was he? If I remember right from the episode, he was trying to install anti-lock brakes.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not going to get it for the first Grid Life event. He'll have everything back together, but I don't think he's going to have the ABS squared away. Excuse me, but he'll have,
But he'll have the
I think
larger diameter brakes and
yeah, on the Honda Pilot spindles, and he
mm,
he got some new wheels that are super dope. They're 18-inch gold. I forget what brand. Like I think he got a sponsor for wheels, which is insane
nice.
to think.
Yeah.
It's so cool. But so yes, that's cool. No, I mean for the car though, I think I should be good for the April event. I it's so we're like 10 days out now or 12 days out, and I if there's like a decent amount of a chance of rain, I'm probably not gonna go just
Mm,
because like it's gonna be a kind of a pain in the ass with work and everything going on right now to just
yeah.
like be ready for it. And if it's gonna be like miserable, rainy,
Just waiting it out.
just gonna pass. And
But
that's
you they'll let you run in the rain, right?
they will. It's just pain because I don't have windshield wipers and
Mm.
I'm learning a new car essentially with all
Yeah,
the upgrades. It's
you
just
won't. Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of my thought. Um, I did though, kind of representing the Motion Raceworks. I got a turn signal for my
Nice.
yeah for the Motion Raceworks steering column. But yeah, like in the pictures, it's a really nice piece. Like it's billet, but
Mhm.
it's so funny because all it is a toggle switch that they
Oh, no joke.
yeah. So I'm just going to take the factory
It's
harness and run, because I still have like the blinker, the
yeah.
blinker, not solenoid, but capacitor, I guess is that what that is?
Uh
That makes the click, click, click.
oh, that's a good question actually.
I
I'm
think
not sure I know.
I think it's a capacitor. I think it because you're hearing the
Charge and
release.
discharge maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, like all that harness still exists. So I'm just going to tie the front left, rear left, and front right, rear right together.
Yeah.
Put them on the switch, and
It's just a well-dressed toggle switch.
yeah, it's hysterical. Uh, so kind of funny because like it was like $130 or something.
Is
But
it like aluminum?
yeah, I think
Machined aluminum?
no, I think it's billet. Like it's fancy. It's a really
Yeah.
nice piece. But it's got like a little. I don't have it out here, but it goes around it's like an inch and a quarter, tube for the
Yeah.
steering shaft. So it makes it pretty like stocky.
Yeah.
So
Now those maybe this was never true in the Camaro. Did it ever have the auto put on your left signal and if you turn right, would it click off?
it did, yeah. Yeah, when I had the
Is
stock steering wheel, it did.
that one won't though, will it?
It won't. I'll have, I've thought about putting in indicator lights. Like it wouldn't be that difficult to throw some LED indicator lights. Like I just want to make it look nice. I got to figure out where I would put them
On the
to
dash or the car?
on the dash to
Oh,
show
okay.
that that they're
That
on.
you've got them.
Yeah.
Or just do it like a motorcycle and just have one.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think about doing
Not you
that.
don't necessarily need to know if you've got your left or right. You just want to know if your left or turn signal's on.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Huh.
Just put one somewhere.
Yeah.
Or make it the cabin light or something. Like you could hide it.
Yeah, true. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think about doing that. That's yeah. For now, I'm
You
just
could.
gonna install it so I don't have to keep doing. So-
That's so funny.
like I'm not gonna get pulled over for some stupid shit that I didn't like,
Yeah.
signal myself out of a turn. Like
I mean, that's valid, right? The hand signals are still valid, right?
I Googled it because I was like, man, what's the rules here? And all 50 states recognize hand signals for like signaling that you're gonna turn.
Because that's interesting. Like, especially looking forward to the sprint car. It's like I'm gonna not have as much as I can on it
You're good.
and
You're good.
shouldn't need turn signals. I think, yeah, I need to brush up on that. I got to figure out what I'm doing too. People at work about have me convinced to find a Model A VIN number. But then I got to looking at it and I thought this was true and I just couldn't verbalize it to those guys at work that Model A's 1937 predates what we now know as the VIN system.
Oh, yeah.
There were serial numbers, sure, but they were random and they were decided by the manufacturers. It was just that individual components were serialized for a manufacturing
Hmm.
standpoint, not that the government had stuck their fingers into it for a traceability thing.
So if you have a Model A, what, how do
You
you,
you would utilize the serial number off of, and you pick the engine or
mm,
the body. So sure, like numbers matching means that the serial number on the engine matches the body, matches
hmm.
the what have you. But that's not a number that the government was involved with. It was the number that Ford came
Yeah.
up with, and they don't necessarily. It's not linked to any. Again, it's 1937. So what options were there? So it's not linked to the color. It's not linked to the
Hmm.
trim package, or
Yeah. I wonder
So
if they're,
I was like, well, I've got an engine that's got a serial number on it.
ooh,
So
yeah.
is that all I need?
Yeah. As long as you don't have to go to like the DMV to do any sort of checkout, you know.
Which I will. My initial plan was to build it and try and go through the process of getting a state issued VIN, which as like a home builder, you can do that. You can say, I built
Oh,
this thing.
yeah.
It is no make and model. I sourced the parts from all over the place.
Hmm.
I want my own VIN.
Yeah.
And you can do that. I don't know how to do it yet.
That
But
would be cooler than finding a donor VIN
I think
or a
so.
donor ID.
I think it'd be cool. It especially cool. And now people are probably going to start rolling their eyes when they hear this. I think it'd be cool because how I would like the opportunity to say like, well, what is it? Well, it's a Spears Mark One,
Mm, that sounds cool as shit, by the way.
like yeah, or something like
You
that.
have
You
a cool
know,
last name. I like
yeah,
it.
you know, it's a. I was like, oh, what if it was like a Spears Arrow? But that sounds too much like Pierce Arrow, which is a real car.
Mm,
But anyway, but like, could I do that? Am I now the make?
yeah.
Can I pick the model?
Low volume production.
Yeah.
I
Which
won.
I need to brush up on this. This is where like SEMA and people like that are just the greatest people on earth because
Mhm.
they've broken down a lot of barriers with that kind of thing. And I think I had heard at some point, and I need to verify all this, that it basically is whatever you say it is. If I build a replica of a 1965 Cobra that's totally from scratch, and I go to the DMV and I said, hey, this is a 1965 Cobra, they'll, uh, I think you can register it as such, and
Mhm.
you're only required to meet the requirements of 1965 because you've declared that that's what it is.
Right.
And then you've got maybe you need to show pictures that like here's a 1965 Cobra and here's my car that I built, like
Hmm.
so therefore I don't need side curtain airbags because it was 1960. I'm only trying to make it as good as 1965.
Right. Right.
I don't know if any of that's true. I thought I'd heard that was starting to happen or is happening,
You should listen
but
to the Muscle Car Place. There's a handful of episodes that Rob Kibbe put together on low production, like
oh yeah,
low volume vehicle production. Yeah.
yeah,
He talks through, there's a couple companies out there that are doing replicas and repos or reproductions of like, Mustangs and,
yeah.
those types of vehicles. He probably has like four or five like peppered through 5 years, so it'd be kind of hard to find, but it's searchable. You can figure that out. Um, and so yeah, I think he's got a lot of good information in those podcasts about what it takes to do those things.
Yeah. And
And
I'd spent a lot of time on like the DMV's website, and I can see all the forms, I can see the process, I can see all that, and you eventually have to have it inspected by like the sheriff or whatever. And it's like, okay, I get all that, I get the steps, but it's
Mhm.
like when I've got the sheriff standing in my garage, is he going to be like, "What the hell is this thing?"
Yeah, yeah.
Probably. But then what tools do I have at my disposal to be like, all right, calm down. I get that it's doesn't have a windshield, it doesn't have turn signals, it
Mhm.
doesn't have airbags, it doesn't have, all these things. It doesn't have blind spot detection. Like, but I don't have to have any of that because of
Neither
blah
does
blah
that.
blah. Yeah.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So
Huh.
it's like, but the difference being it's like I built it as a Spears whatever in the year 2026.
Hmm.
So therefore, how could I claim that it's anything other than? And I think that's where SEMA had stepped in and said, no, this is a replica of this make model year. Therefore, that's what it is. No question.
Hmm.
That's the end of the story.
Yeah, yeah.
As long as you meet the requirements of low production or whatever, which is
Hmm.
still, I think, relatively high. I think it's like it's the definition of low production in the guise of the government is like more than any average person would ever be able to accomplish, with the
Yeah.
exception of like factory five,
Well, and
maybe.
you're not reselling them either, so I
Right.
think there's a part of that as well. And I think, like I said, Rob Kibbe talks about it, but he comes at it from a production to sell perspective, not
Sure.
necessarily like you a type of person
The
like
home
you.
builder. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So maybe not as relevant, but still worth, hearing the perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My, uh, my intentions are, Yeah, there's a lot of ego there, really. It's like how cool if I could get my name on the the title or registration or what have you. Like
Yeah.
that's really the only reason I'm doing it. Otherwise, I would. Why would I not hit the easy button of getting a serial number or VIN
Hmm.
and just pulling the wool over the DMV's eyes, like a lot of people do, and it's a legitimate path to get the job done. Or I could do it the hard way and come out with my own unique to me VIN.
Yeah, that to me sounds like the coolest thing in the world. Like,
Yeah, right. Like on my car guy bucket list, that'd be it's on there, but it's one of those like unobtainable.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, it's like, well, is it unobtainable?
No, I think you're there. No, that's cool. Um,
Daydreaming.
yep, that's all we do around here. I just am thrilled that I've got red calipers poking through the wheels. Like,
Yeah.
they're small. I get it. Like, they're not massive, but hey, got to start somewhere.
Yeah. No, it looks good.
Yeah, thanks. This is a good conversation. I'm excited. Hopefully next time I have a race to talk about, or maybe not next time, but next couple episodes I should be back in the swing of racing, and I think
Yeah.
we'll have a lot to talk about. And you should be moving on to the next project.
Hope so. I'm excited to hear how the car feels in anger.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited too. So
All right.
cool. All right, everybody. Well, thanks again for tuning in, and but until next time, we'll chat. See ya.
Yeah.